On August 16, at 3:33 a.m., heaven sent something to your doorstep, but Archangel Michael says you ignored the nudge to open it. This was not just a message, it was a miracle in disguise. You now have 2 minutes left before it's given to someone else. Open this before midnight. August 16 was not just another day on the calendar. It was not ordinary. It was not random. It was appointed, chosen, stamped with the divine seal of heaven. On that day, the heavens aligned with your earthly timeline. The veil thinned. A rare moment opened between realms, and a package was sent. A message. No. Something more. A miracle disguised in the natural, wrapped in the unnoticed, and sent directly to your doorstep. Archangel Michael, commander of heaven's armies, guardian of sacred destinies, bearer of divine justice, stepped into this timeline to oversee the delivery himself. He was there. He stood at the threshold. The spiritual transaction was not theory, it was movement. Tangible. It descended, accompanied by the authority of heaven's courts, prepared to shift everything in your life. It didn't come as thunder or lightning. It came quietly, hidden in simplicity, to test one thing, your awareness. But it was left unopened. You walked past it, perhaps unknowingly, perhaps distracted, perhaps too busy to sense the tug in your spirit. But heaven noticed, and heaven waited. This was no ordinary opportunity. This was not just another message. It was the divine interruption you prayed for, longed for, wept for, a breakthrough camouflaged as something common. And now, Archangel Michael has returned. Not with wrath, not with rebuke, but with a warning. You have minutes left. Just minutes. The door has not closed yet, but the lock is turning. And listen closely. This message is not for the masses. It is not for the casual believer, not for the spiritually numb, not for the lukewarm. This is for the spiritually sensitive, the awake, the ones who know that God speaks in whispers and watches who listens. Those who understand divine timing and divine consequences. To recover what was sent, you must enter stillness, focus, obedience. No more scrolling, no more noise. Silence is the signal that you're ready. Midnight is not just a time, it's a turning point, a threshold. Open what you missed before it's redirected to another. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 888 is now surrounding you. Almighty Archangel Michael, defender of divine timelines and protector of God's chosen, we call upon your presence now. We summon your sword, your fire, your discernment, and your urgency. Stand beside the listener as heaven speaks. Let every word be guarded by your authority. Let the veil thin once more. For this is not just a message. This is a heavenly intervention dressed in urgency and cloaked in disguise. The clock is ticking. The sands of the spirit hourglass are falling fast. And even now, as this message finds your eyes and your ears, heaven's timeline is active. Something was sent to you. Something rare. Something powerful. And yet it was left unopened. In the spirit realm, not everything comes wrapped in thunder. Some miracles arrive in silence, hidden within the ordinary. And this is the test. Heaven wanted to see, would you discern it without the spotlight? Could you recognize the move of God when it wasn't dressed in glitter, noise, or grandeur? Could you feel the tremble in your spirit, even if your surroundings looked the same? August 16 was marked by heaven as a divine doorway. That day was designed as a delivery point. And you, yes, you, were the recipient. But listen now, the miracle didn't come in the way you expected. It didn't have ribbons, it didn't carry thunder. It was wrapped in normalcy to expose your spiritual discernment. And now, the alarm has sounded again. You've been given a final window. 2 minutes. One last breath before the door begins to close. This isn't for everyone. It can't be. Heaven is not speaking to the masses right now. This is only for the ones with ears to hear, eyes to see, hearts that burn. The chosen ones. The awakened. The spiritually alert. You know who you are because your spirit has been restless since August 16. Your sleep disrupted. Your thoughts heavy. Something in you knows something was missed. You felt it, didn't you? That odd sense that something was hovering. That heaven had visited, but you weren't sure how or why. That inner nudge to pause, but the noise of life was louder. And now, Archangel Michael returns, not to condemn, but to recover what was rightfully yours. Child of God, this is your moment. You are standing inside a final instruction. What you do in this moment will determine if the miracle reroutes or remains. There are spiritual laws at play. Heaven does not operate in chaos. There is order. There are watchers. There is justice. And make no mistake, the delivery was real. The enemy wanted you distracted. He wanted you numb, scrolling endlessly, disconnected from the tug of the Spirit. He knew what was coming. He tried to blur your focus so that you would walk right past the answer you once wept for. The package was sent, but your awareness was under attack. That was not coincidence. That was spiritual warfare. But heaven does not give up easily. Grace has spoken again. And right now, at this very second, the miracle is still within reach. This message, this moment, this is your final nudge. And what is it that's being delivered? It may not be physical, but its impact is tangible. A divine opportunity. A long-awaited breakthrough. A spiritual promotion. A restoration of something you thought was lost. The details are hidden, but the invitation is not. Heaven is saying, open your spirit. Ready your heart. The seal is breaking. The delivery is coming back around. But you must act. Not later. Now. Speak to your soul. Still your distractions. Command your focus to return. For the package will not wait. By midnight, it will have been redirected, claimed by another, reassigned to someone else whose spirit is in position. Don't miss what's yours. Don't let delay rob you twice. You are being called to divine attention. And Archangel Michael stands watch. He is clearing the air. He is commanding silence around your spirit. He is warring for your clarity, your urgency, your obedience. What heaven sends must be received with reverence. It begins with this. Say yes. Say now. Say, I am listening, Lord. This is your holy instruction. This is your 2-minute warning. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. There are moments in life when the spirit begins to stir without explanation. When something unseen brushes against your soul. When the air around you feels charged, strange, watched. And you begin to notice, not with your eyes, but with the inside of you, that something is shifting and not everyone around you is happy about it. This is what began to happen after August 16. The moment the miracle touched your realm, even unopened, the atmosphere around you began to change. People acted differently. Friends distanced themselves without reason. Strangers stared longer than usual. Conversations felt loaded. You felt it. You heard it in whispers, saw it in glances, sensed it in rooms that suddenly felt unfamiliar. What you didn't know was that in the spirit realm, your name had been announced. A delivery had been made, and not everyone was pleased to hear it. You thought it was just a bad day, an awkward encounter, a weird tension. But no, it was spiritual exposure. Others around you, whether they understood it or not, began to sense that heaven was leaning in your direction. And some of them didn't like it. Some of them, knowingly or unknowingly, began to operate as distractions, agents of delay, even spiritual decoys. Not everyone rejoices when heaven marks a person for promotion. And the spirit of jealousy is always first to arrive when God sends favor to your doorstep. So the emotional disruption began. The inner restlessness. The mental clutter. The sudden insecurity, doubt, confusion. It was as though your mind entered a fog that wouldn't lift. That was not random. That was resistance. That was spiritual interference sent to make you question the very moment that heaven appointed. Archangel Michael saw it. He watched the moment your miracle was delivered and immediately surveilled by those not meant to witness it. He saw the enemy stirring up confusion. He saw the people who pretended not to notice what was happening, but they did notice. Some of them even whispered about it. Some even attempted to intercept it. Yes, beloved, someone knew. Someone felt it before you did. They could sense that something divine was coming to your door. They couldn't explain it, but they were drawn to your field, drawn to what was hovering around your life. And they watched. They watched to see if you would recognize it. They watched to see if you would open it. They watched to see if you would move. But you didn't. Not yet. So the spiritual realm waited. And even now, as you hear this message, the spirit is confronting the delay. The mystery that clouded your mind is being broken. You were not crazy. You were not imagining the shift. You were not paranoid. Heaven did move, and the enemy scrambled to confuse you before you saw it. But listen, there is still time. Though emotional disruption came in waves, though people tried to make you second-guess yourself, though doubt wrapped its arms around your clarity, the seal has not been broken by another yet. The miracle has not been claimed by the counterfeit. Heaven held it in place just long enough for you to wake up. Now you must take back your clarity. Now you must rise in discernment. Now you must confront the strange resistance that surrounded you and say, I know what was sent to me, and I will not let it pass me by again. You have a right to peace, a right to understanding, a right to receive what God sent to your name. But you must want it more than they wanted you to miss it. There is a spiritual competition over your promise, a quiet war over your obedience. The miracle waits, but the hands of others are reaching, curious, covetous, watching. So the question now is this: will you open what heaven sent, or will you allow the noise of others to drown out the whisper of destiny? Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. You've just heard how heaven moves, how angels war, how promises hover over your life. And right now, someone out there is missing the message that could shift everything. I hear the Spirit saying, "Will you help me reach the next one?" Every seed you sow into this mission helps deliver a breakthrough to someone else's doorstep. Just as the manna fell from heaven, your giving releases fresh rain for another soul. When you support this channel through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or even PayPal linked in the video description, you become part of this spiritual movement. You are the hands of the harvest. You are the reason someone else finds their miracle in time. This isn't charity, this is prophecy in action. And to every giver, I declare, may your offering return to you sevenfold. May God open the storehouses of heaven on your behalf. Now, rise and be part of heaven's supply chain. Don't wait. Step into divine generosity. Give now and activate the blessing attached to your obedience. You must understand this. What was sent to your doorstep on August 16 was never just a message. It was a spiritual appointment wrapped in disguise. And because it was heaven sent, it was also hell targeted. What looked simple in the natural was deeply contested in the spirit realm. This was not a random blessing. It was a divine key, a gateway, a moment that could change everything. You've been asking for breakthrough, crying out for answers, believing for movement. And heaven finally responded, but not in the way you imagined. The miracle didn't look like fire from the sky. It didn't come as a loud announcement. Instead, it came like a whisper, a soft knock on the door of your destiny. But here's the mystery: even soft knocks echo in the spirit realm. And the enemy heard it. When heaven sends, hell observes. When God releases, darkness reacts. And what you failed to open became the center of a spiritual conflict. Because you are chosen. Because your name is written on scrolls in heaven's war room. Because your calling, your assignment, your voice, your life, it all threatens the very kingdom of darkness. So every delivery to your life is a threat to the plans of the enemy. That's why you feel warfare even when nothing seems to be happening. Because the unseen realm is where the real battle takes place. This is not a coincidence. It's a campaign, a spiritual strategy to make you miss your moment. The devil doesn't mind if you pray, as long as you never perceive. He doesn't mind if you go to church, as long as you remain spiritually distracted. He's not after your habits, he's after your awareness. Because awareness is the gate to receiving. So, what was really happening when you ignored the nudge? You were under attack. Not with fire or sickness or catastrophe, but with spiritual dullness. The enemy numbed your senses, fogged your discernment, surrounded you with noise. Why? So that when heaven whispered, you would be too distracted to hear it. That's the tactic of delay, not destruction, but distortion. If the enemy can't steal your promise, he'll make you blind to it. Archangel Michael wants you to see the bigger picture now. This was not simply a personal oversight. This was a moment of spiritual warfare. Heaven sent something. Hell tried to intercept it. And you stood in the middle, unaware of the invisible tug-of-war taking place over your soul. And yet, even in that missed moment, you are not condemned. You are called. You are being awakened. You are being shaken back into clarity. You see, the very fact that you are listening right now is proof that heaven did not give up on you. The delivery was delayed, not denied. But the conditions to reclaim it are different now. You must be still. You must be focused. You must be alert. This time, you cannot afford to be spiritually asleep. God is testing your obedience. Not just in the big things, but in the small nudges. The package came in subtle form to reveal. Will you pause when the Spirit moves softly? Will you obey the whisper, not just the shout? Because miracles are often wrapped in mystery. And mystery demands maturity. This test was never about your worthiness. It was about your awareness. You were watched not only by heaven, but by the enemy. And your reactions were measured. Heaven was looking to see if you would respond in stillness or speed past in noise. That's why the conflict is so personal. That's why your spirit has been under siege. Because what's at stake isn't just the miracle. It's your ability to walk in divine rhythm. Timing is everything in the kingdom. Obedience unlocks access. Delay invites interception. And now, you must reclaim what was sent. But this time, you fight for it. You fight with silence. You fight with obedience. You fight with surrender. The spiritual realm is still watching, still measuring, still waiting. This is your second chance. The sword of Michael is drawn. The eyes of the Lord are upon you. And the countdown continues. There is still time, but not much. Will you open what was sealed for you? Will you recover what heaven marked with your name? Or will you let spiritual apathy write the story of missed destiny? Type "I refuse to miss IT" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7711 is now activated. You are now standing in the final hour. Not figuratively. Not emotionally. Prophetically. There is a divine timeline, and the sands in the hourglass are nearly depleted. A hand is moving, not yours, but someone else's, toward what was originally assigned to you. And unless you respond now, unless you reclaim the urgency of heaven's call, the miracle will shift. It will be rerouted. It will be given to another whose spirit is ready to move. This is the moment of prophetic warning. Archangel Michael does not speak lightly. He comes when the battle is critical. He arrives not just as a messenger, but as a warrior. And now he speaks. Someone is approaching what was meant for you. And they are doing it quickly. You must understand what's happening. In the spirit, all things are seen. There is no deception in heaven's courts. Nothing is hidden. The throne of God knows when someone is called and when someone delays. The miracle that came to your doorstep was not idle. It carried assignment, instruction, and impact. It was designed to unlock the next level of your life. To shift you. To propel you. But because you hesitated, the time window has begun to close. And now, another soul, hungry, focused, obedient, is being positioned to receive what was sent to you. Not because God is cruel, not because you were unworthy, but because heaven never wastes miracles. When one person delays, another is raised up. That is not punishment. That is principle. Hear this: delay has consequences. Inaction has repercussions. And while mercy always speaks, obedience is still required. You are not being condemned. You are being warned. There is a difference. This is not to scare you. This is to awaken you. Right now, as you read or hear this message, someone else is spiritually circling what has your name on it. They can feel its power. They don't know why they're drawn to it, but they sense something's available in the spirit, and they are ready to act. They are fasting. They are praying. They are moving with precision, and heaven sees them. The question is, does heaven still see you in position? You see, miracles do not linger indefinitely. They come in waves, in windows, in divine intersections. And when they arrive, your response determines whether you hold it or hand it away without knowing. The miracle that was sent on August 16 is still hovering, but barely. It's not resting anymore. It's being watched. And not just by you. Yes, beloved. Others are aware. Whether by spiritual sensitivity or demonic whisperings, someone else has caught wind of your delivery. Someone else has sensed the aroma of something divine near your life. And they are moving. Heaven is watching to see if you will now rise and reclaim it, or if you'll sleep through the trumpet again. Midnight is not just a number. It is a seal. At midnight, decisions in the spirit are finalized. The unseen becomes law. Angels stop circling and begin carrying out final instructions. Right now, you are still within the 2-minute mercy window. But the scrolls are being rolled up. Heaven is deciding. And Archangel Michael is standing over the boundary line. He is holding back the hands reaching for what is yours. But he cannot hold them forever. He only defends what is active in obedience. You must stand up in the spirit and declare, I claim what is mine. I repent for the delay. I lie now. Because here is the truth. No one told you. The miracle was not just for you. It was supposed to bless others through you. There are lives attached to your yes. There are doors waiting to open through your obedience. And if you miss this moment, the chain of miracles you were meant to ignite will be passed to someone else. Not because God changed his mind, but because you didn't move in time. There's one detail I haven't told you yet. One key piece I will reveal soon. But first, you must decide. Will you let what was yours be carried away in the hands of another? Will you watch your answered prayer walk past your window because you hesitated at the knock? The next 2 minutes are not for watching. They are for action. Heaven is watching. Angels are waiting. And the door is still open, but not for long. Type I will not lose my miracle in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2344 is now activated. Now that you've heard the warning, you cannot return to indifference. Now that you've felt the Spirit's urgency stirring your chest, your response cannot be silence. But hear this clearly. Your next move is not external. It's internal. The miracle hovering above your life is not unlocked by frantic activity. It is released through spiritual alignment. And this is what Archangel Michael is now commanding. Be still. Withdraw. Enter divine silence. For the next moments are not about trying to do something. They are about becoming someone. One who is still enough to hear. Empty enough to receive. Quiet enough to be sealed. Heaven is calling you into protection. Not just from people, not just from confusion, but from spiritual interception. The miracle is still in the field, but so are the watchers. So are the imitators. So are the spirits of delay, sabotage, and confusion. And Archangel Michael, by God's order, is surrounding your promise. But you must step into the sanctuary of stillness. It is your hiding place now. Your womb of recovery. Your holy vault. This is not weakness. This is warfare in disguise. The battle is no longer yours to fight. It belongs to the Lord. Your part is to remove distractions. Cancel the noise. Mute the voices. Disconnect from what drains your discernment. Right now, the enemy hopes you will keep scrolling, keep speaking, keep moving so that you never hear the still, small voice saying, "It's here again. Reach for it." But spiritual sensitivity is cultivated in quietness. Stillness is not laziness. Stillness is where the Spirit of God performs divine surgery. And your heart right now needs healing from what you missed. Your spirit needs resetting from the emotional noise. Your soul needs to be re-anchored before you can handle the weight of the blessing that's returning. Withdraw from the world, not forever, but for now. This is the sacred pause. This is the holy interruption. Heaven's light shines brightest when you step out of man's spotlight. So turn down the volume. Don't explain. Don't defend. Just go silent. In the silence, something sacred begins to form again. Your clarity returns. Your discernment sharpens. Your spiritual reflexes come alive. And then, the package that was once missed becomes visible once more. Because the truth is, it was never completely gone. It was waiting for your posture to shift. And now that it has, heaven is sending movement. Archangel Michael has been given orders. He is not just a messenger of battle. He is a guardian of breakthroughs. And when God commands him to defend what's yours, no weapon formed against you can prosper. He is drawing circles of fire around your name. He is standing at the edge of your territory. He is warding off every spirit that seeks to mimic, steal, or distort what was marked for your life. But understand this, the seal must now be placed around you. You must speak the protective word over your life. You must invoke spiritual covering. You must guard your gates, your eyes, your ears, your spirit, with holy awareness. What you let in now determines what remains in your possession. So, here is your instruction. 1. Withdraw. Don't respond to drama. Don't chase explanations. Go quiet. 2. Pray. Not begging, but listening. Let your soul align. 3. Speak. Declare spiritual authority. Say, "What is mine will not pass me again." 4. Seal. Ask for divine sealing of your heart and mind. Ask Archangel Michael to place flaming swords around what's yours. 5. Rest. Yes, rest. because the battle now belongs to heaven. And while you rest, know this: God is not confused. He is not in crisis. He knew your delay. He factored it in. He counted the cost and still sent the miracle. But now he wants to know, can you stay still long enough to receive it? Don't speak to prove. Don't move to impress. Don't panic to fix. Just enter the sanctuary of stillness. The package has returned. The seal is cracking. The angel is watching. And the silence you enter now will be the proof that your spirit is in alignment to receive again. Say it aloud. I will not be distracted. I will be still. I will be still. Type I am protected by heaven in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 4411 is now surrounding you. The time for fear is over. The time for delay is over. The time for shrinking back into silence, shame, and spiritual paralysis is over. You are no longer who you were before August 16. The moment heaven chose the date, it was not just to deliver a miracle. It was to awaken your authority. It was to shake the slumber off your spirit and release the warrior within you. This is not just about recovering what you missed. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. You are stepping into the shift. A divine shift. A holy turn. An irreversible activation. Something inside you is breaking loose, and it is not weakness. It is power. It is fire. It is identity. Heaven didn't just send something to your doorstep. It sent a version of you that you hadn't seen yet. One bold enough to claim the promise. One strong enough to silence the noise. One awakened enough to discern the divine in the disguise of the ordinary. Before August 16, you questioned yourself. You doubted the voice. You feared the timing. You felt unworthy of divine appointments. But after this moment, after this revelation, the old self no longer fits. The cloak of fear is too tight. The whispers of maybe not me sound foreign. Because the version of you heaven designed has now been called forward. You are not a victim of divine delay. You are a vessel of divine delivery. And Archangel Michael, the warring angel of God, stands now not just to protect you, but to ignite you. The same flame that guards is the flame that burns away your limitations. You were never weak. You were never left behind. You were simply unaware of the fire within. And now, that fire is awakening. This is your identity shift. You are not waiting to be chosen. You are already chosen. You are not hoping to be seen. You are already marked. You are not striving to be worthy. You were born for this. The reason the warfare came so hard is because the enemy saw what was inside you before you did. He tried to confuse it, bury it, distract it. But heaven wouldn't let you go. God wouldn't let you miss the call. And now, because you've answered, you must rise. You must now walk like one who holds spiritual authority. Speak with the weight of heaven behind you. Move with the confidence of someone who has been seen by God. Take back your time, your thoughts, your territory. Yes, your wings were always there. You just didn't stretch them. Yes, the oil was always on your life. You just didn't know it was flowing. Yes, your name was spoken in heaven's courts. You just didn't hear it over the chaos. But now, Now the fire inside you is undeniable. And that fire cannot be negotiated with fear, cannot be bartered with delay, cannot be dimmed by the opinions of man. The miracle that returned to your doorstep is also the mirror. And when you look at it, you don't just see what's coming, you see who you've become. This is not the season of hoping something will change. This is the season of realizing you are the change. The shift has already begun. You are already walking through the veil. The identity that missed it is shedding. The version of you that stayed silent is dying. The true you, the anointed, appointed, awakened one, is rising. So now, rise with courage. Reclaim what is yours. Speak what has been silenced. And move like someone who knows the angels are watching. Because they are. Archangel Michael sees your rise. Heaven celebrates your return to alignment. Let the words echo from your spirit. I am not who I was. I am chosen. I am sealed. I am ready. Type I am rising in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7007 is now flowing through your atmosphere. The time has come to lift the final veil. The time has come to reveal why this package came. Why heaven chose August 16. Why Archangel Michael was appointed to oversee its delivery. It was not random. It was not simply to stir your spirit. It was a response. A divine response. To a cry you once released when no one else was listening. To a moment when you were at the edge of surrender, whispering a question into the darkness. God, do you still see me? He saw you, and he answered, but not with words, not with thunder. He answered with a delivery, a divine response dressed in mystery, sent to your doorstep, not just to bless you, but to confirm you. What arrived on August 16 was not simply a miracle. It was a fulfilled prophecy. It was the long-awaited key to the prayer you stopped believing would be answered. And now, heaven is revealing it. This was your unlocking moment. What you didn't realize is that when you prayed, heaven did not just hear, heaven recorded. Your name was written in the scrolls. Your tears became data in heaven's system. Your warfare became a file on the altar. And when the appointed time came, God said, now, send the release. That release came. But it came differently. Because the greater the miracle, the greater the mystery around its delivery. You asked for healing, but it came as stillness. You asked for provision, but it came as silence. You asked for promotion, but it came through pain. You asked for confirmation, but it came disguised as confusion. Why? Because heaven wanted you to see beyond the natural, to discern beyond the surface. You were being trained in divine sensitivity. Your spirit was being prepared for next-level access. The enemy thought you wouldn't notice it, that you would miss it. And for a moment, you almost did. But heaven is merciful. And what was delayed is now being disclosed. Archangel Michael returns now to speak what you were once too distracted to hear. The package you missed was the turning point you prayed for. The door you didn't open held the scroll of your next assignment. The miracle you delayed was the beginning of your divine promotion. And heaven, in its grace, has brought it back around. You are now standing in the moment where prophecy meets presence, The very thing you once gave up on is knocking again. The whisper you once thought was your imagination is now roaring in your ears. The change you thought would take years is here now, within reach, within breath, within faith. But understand, this is not only about fulfillment. It's about announcement. Heaven is announcing your name in spiritual courts. You are no longer hidden. Your season of obscurity has ended. The reason the delivery came on August 16 is because the courtrooms of heaven had finally come to agreement over your case. The delays were judged. The accusations were silenced. The verdict was released. Give them what was promised. And now it's here. Your promotion is not pending, it's active. Your healing is not hypothetical, it's happening. Your provision is not theoretical, it's being processed. Your restoration is not optional, it's ordained. All of this is not just for your sake. You are being raised for impact. What you receive now will bless generations. What is being opened in this moment is not just for personal satisfaction. It's for prophetic assignment. God has called you to steward glory, to handle weight, to carry what others mishandle. And that's why it came now. You are finally ready. You've endured enough to carry it. You've been crushed enough to hold it without pride. You've been stripped enough to wear it with humility. You've been tested enough to walk in it without fear. The package wasn't just a breakthrough. It was proof that heaven never forgot. Now declare it boldly. I receive what was sent. I embrace what was promised. I will steward what has returned. Type prophecy unlocked in the comments if you received this message. Blessing code 1212 is now flowing into your timeline. This prophetic revelation isn't just for you. It's a signal that heaven is moving on behalf of many. Right now, someone else is waiting for a word, a moment, a miracle to knock on their door. And through your obedience, you can help deliver it. The Lord is saying, as you sow into my word, I will send my voice to the next. Your gift is not a donation. It's a spiritual transfer. It's you saying, use me, Lord, as a channel of glory. Whether through super thanks, YouTube membership, or a PayPal offering link in the video description, your seed speaks. And when it speaks, heaven moves. Just as Elijah's offering brought fire to the altar, so will yours bring fire to someone else's breakthrough. To every giver, I declare open heavens, fresh oil, and divine speed in your household. Now, respond to the pull. Release what's in your hand, and watch what God releases in return. So now, the scroll of release is waiting. You have been delivered a word. You have been awakened by fire. You have been warned, revealed to, covered, and called. But now comes the moment heaven has waited for since the beginning of your story, the activation of your destiny. This is not symbolic. This is not emotional hype. This is a spiritual commissioning. Heaven is standing by, watching to see what you do next. Not with your hands, but with your faith. Your destiny is not waiting on a perfect moment. It's waiting on a faith-filled agreement. And that agreement must be declared with your voice, your posture, your surrender, your obedience. Say it now. I am ready. I say yes. I'm aligned. I am not looking back. Because from this point forward, hesitation is not an option. Delay is not welcome. Doubt has no access. You've seen too much. You've heard too much. You endured too much to go back to small thinking, small living, and small faith. This is the hour of enlargement, not just in blessing, but in identity. You are not being called to survive. You are being called to establish, to build, to govern, to walk in rooms heaven designed with your name etched into the air. The package wasn't just the fulfillment of a prayer. It was the beginning of a movement. Your life is the gate through which heaven will flow into others. The blessing that returned wasn't just to restore you. It was to activate the lives attached to your obedience. There are souls, businesses, ministries, legacies, and prophetic structures waiting on your yes. And that yes must be sealed in action. Start speaking what you once feared. Start declaring what you were once too timid to pray. Start moving like someone who has been personally summoned by the voice of God. This is the call to radical obedience. Not delayed obedience. Not logical obedience. Radical. Immediate. Fireborn. Heaven back. When you move, angels move. When you speak, atmospheres shift. When you declare, scrolls are opened. When you obey, time bends. Yes, time bends. What you thought would take years will happen in weeks. Why? Because you're no longer moving as you. You are moving as the anointed you. The version of you that walks in spiritual authority. The version of you that sees time differently, not through the lens of anxiety, but through the lens of assignment. Heaven doesn't need long processes. It needs quick obedience. And that is what you're stepping into. The enemy's greatest fear wasn't your blessing. It was your activation. Because a blessed person can still be passive. But an activated person is a threat to hell's infrastructure. Activated people change families. Activated people dismantle demonic systems. Activated people release revival into dry places. Activated people don't beg, they bind. Activated people don't wish, they walk. Activated people don't shrink, they rise. And now, that is you. The door has reopened. The moment has returned. The scroll has descended. And your destiny has not expired. It's being amplified. Heaven waits on your verbal agreement. Speak it now, with no apology, no fear, no delay. I align with my assignment. I receive the weight of my calling. I step into divine movement. I release the old. I activate the new. I say yes, Lord, with everything in me. Feel the shift. That's the spiritual lock breaking open. That's your atmosphere responding. That's destiny catching up to your timeline. Because when you say yes in the spirit, everything around you must come into agreement. People will shift. Doors will open. Old relationships will fall off. New connections will arrive. Ideas will awaken. Provision will chase you. Because activated people don't chase, they attract. You're not chasing purpose. You are walking in it. You're not begging for alignment. You are becoming alignment. So hear this as Archangel Michael stands over your moment with sword drawn and flame burning. The scroll is open. The angels are ready. The only thing heaven waits on is your agreement. Don't whisper it. Don't think it. Speak it. Now. Type "My destiny is activated" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1777 is now unlocked over your entire timeline. What if I told you that even now, as your spirit awakens, as your mouth declares, as your obedience deepens, a sacred exchange is taking place on your behalf? Not in front of your eyes, not in your physical realm, but in the silent, burning corridors of heaven, where angelic negotiations are being finalized, scrolls are being signed, and assignments are being reactivated with your name written in eternal ink. Right now, in this exact moment, a transaction is unfolding, not with human hands, but with holy fire. The Spirit of God wants you to know you did not miss it beyond recovery. You were not disqualified. What was meant for you is still returning, but it's happening through a dimension that requires your stillness, not your striving. You must see this in the Spirit, because before anything touches your hands, it must be wrestled for in the unseen. Archangel Michael has not left your side. He has been sent not only to deliver warning, but to participate in the retrieval of what was once slipping away from your timeline. He stands now in the inner courts of divine transaction. His sword is drawn, not for war this time, but for execution of justice. Yes, justice. Because what was sent to you was intercepted. What was on its way to your life was seen by eyes that had no right to it, spoken of by mouths that were never meant to name it, and even touched, yes, touched, by hands that were not consecrated to carry it. But because you have returned to alignment, because your heart has bowed, because your spirit has said yes, heaven is reversing the trajectory. And the reversal is happening in silence, in deep places, in places too sacred for human intervention. You can't see it. You can't hear it. But your spirit can feel it. That unease you felt recently. That heaviness that wouldn't lift. That pressure you couldn't explain. That wasn't depression. That wasn't confusion. That was your spirit's radar. It was picking up on what was happening behind the veil. You weren't restless without reason. You were sensing the war for your promise. And now that war is concluding. There's no longer a battle. There's only transfer. The angels are collecting what was attempted to be stolen. They are carrying back what almost passed you by. And the Spirit is overseeing the final confirmation. This belongs to them. This is sealed by obedience. This is protected by fire. Heaven is loud, but its most powerful operations happen in silence. In that stillness you stepped into, that moment you said yes, in the very breath you exhaled surrender, something shifted. There are angels who function like scribes. Right now, one of them has taken your name and inscribed it onto the newly restored assignment. That package you ignored on August 16. That missed moment. That broken intersection. It's been reopened. You are no longer disqualified. You are recertified. The realm of glory is reorganizing around your agreement. Angels are redirecting the currents of provision. Messengers are being reassigned to bring what was delayed. Demonic claims have been overruled. Chains have been broken. And the miracle is moving again, this time toward your doorstep with no interference allowed. But the Spirit would have you know one more truth: you will not need to strive for this. You will not need to prove you deserve it. You will not need to explain it to anyone. This blessing is arriving in silence. It is the reward of the obedient, the inheritance of the awakened, the release for the one who said yes. And when it comes, it will not be announced with trumpets. It will come like a whisper, like wind, like a soft thud on your spiritual doorstep. Don't miss it again. Stay sensitive. Stay still. Let your soul remain tuned to the divine, because what is happening now is too holy to be loud. And soon, it will manifest. And when it does, they'll wonder how it happened so fast. But you'll know it wasn't sudden. It was settled. In the silence. In the Spirit. In secret. Now declare it with power. The exchange is complete. What's mine is returning. I'm in divine alignment. Type "the exchange is mine" in the comments if you received this message. Blessing code 3443 is now resting upon your spiritual transaction. Hear me clearly, beloved. Heaven has ruled in your favor. What the enemy touched, heaven is reversing. What was delayed, heaven is releasing. What was intercepted, heaven is restoring. Not quietly, but with divine justice that echoes through realms unseen. This is not just about recovery. This is about recompense. This is not just about you receiving again. This is about you receiving more than what was stolen. For the Lord says, I have seen the theft. I have seen the mockery. I have seen the manipulation. Now I will repay. There are moments in the divine timeline when mercy speaks. But then comes the moment when justice roars. And this, right now, is that moment for you. Archangel Michael, heaven's appointed enforcer of righteousness, has drawn his sword, not for negotiation, but for execution of reversal. Let it be made known in the Spirit. The miracle that was almost lost has now been marked untouchable. The seal of God is upon it. The claim of heaven is louder than the voice of the adversary. And anything, anyone, that dared to touch what belonged to you is now under judgment. Because God does not let the enemy handle his promises without consequence. You need to understand this. The blessing that was sent to you was not just about favor. It was about assignment. And when something delays your assignment, heaven intervenes to preserve purpose. So while you were feeling confused, God was writing verdicts. While you were blaming yourself, angels were defending your name. And while you were questioning your worth, the blood of Jesus was crying out, it still belongs to them. There is divine legal structure behind your destiny. You are not at the mercy of demonic chaos. You are under the government of heaven. And in that government, no injustice goes uncorrected. Let the gossips be silenced. Let the witches be confused. Let the naysayers choke on their own words. Because what was sent to destroy you has now become evidence in the court of glory. And God is not just giving it back. He is giving it back pressed down, shaken together, and running over. There is a shift happening even now. What the enemy used to shame you, God is using to elevate you. What they whispered behind your back, God is broadcasting in favor. What they tried to reroute, God is reestablishing with interest. This is divine reversal. This is when heaven makes an example of the enemy. This is when God says, "Touch not my anointed, and do my prophet no harm." This is when the table is prepared in the presence of your enemies, not after they leave, but while they're watching. The Lord says, "They tried to intercept the moment, but I will now intercept their intentions. They tried to delay the flow, but I will now delay their deception. What was once a test for you is now a testimony against them. And I will cause all things to work together for your good." You are stepping into a season of vindication. Not only will you be restored, you will be respected. Not only will you be elevated, you will be established. Not only will you be proven right, you will be publicly honored. Let this be written in the scrolls. Your obedience has triggered reversal. The midnight hour that once threatened to pass you by is now the hour of final judgment, not against you, but against the spirits and strategies that tried to rob you. They will not succeed. They will not touch it again. They will watch as the blessing arrives, fully guarded, fully visible, and fully yours. Now speak this with boldness. Justice is mine. Heaven has reversed it. The scales have tipped in my favor. What I lost is returning with divine interest. Type "justice is mine" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 9991 has now been stamped upon your reversal decree. Now, child of God, stand still in this sacred moment and let the weight of everything you've just heard settle into your spirit. August 16 was never just a date. It was never just a number. It was a heavenly hinge, a prophetic timestamp, a divine alert echoing through eternity and intersecting with your timeline. Heaven sent something. You didn't imagine it. You didn't fabricate it. You didn't overthink it. It came, and it came for you. And yes, for a moment, you missed the nudge. You overlooked the subtle tap. You ignored the gentle whisper. But heaven, in its infinite mercy, has delivered the truth. The door never fully closed. The seal was never fully broken. And the miracle was never fully lost. It simply waited for your awakening. You stand now not in regret, but in redemption. Not in confusion, but in clarity. Not in condemnation, but in commission. Let every whisper of shame be silenced. Let every lie of you missed it be cast out. Because what you almost let go of has been preserved by divine intervention. Archangel Michael stood between you and your forfeited future, and held the door just long enough for you to return. And you did return. You heard. You obey. You aligned. And heaven has recorded your yes. This message is not just a voice. It is a scroll unrolling. This day is not just another hour. It is a second chance appointed by the courts of glory. You are not just someone scrolling on a screen. You are the one for whom angels war. You are the one God waited for. You are the one whose miracle was protected until you were ready again. Now, hear the final word of the Lord through his appointed messenger. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. What once hovered is now falling. What once knocked is now entering. What once delayed is now delivered. You are in right standing. The door is yours. Open it before midnight. Let this be your closing declaration. I will not miss it again. I open the door. I receive the delivery. I am walking in what was sent. My spirit is ready. My hands are open, and my heart is fully yielded. Your time is now. Type "I have opened the door" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 8888 has now completed your cycle of restoration and release. As you stand in the fullness of this final blessing, know this: you are not the only one heaven is trying to reach. There are thousands right now still unaware their miracle is knocking, still sleeping through their appointed hour. And the Lord says, will you now help me reach them? By sowing into this word, through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or a PayPal offering linked in the video description, you join heaven's assignment. You become a carrier of divine timing, a bridge to breakthrough, a messenger to the next soul waiting for their moment. Your seed isn't just a gift. It's a spiritual action. Just like the angel was dispatched with your promise, your giving dispatches revelation to another. To every person who supports, I release this prophetic reward: open doors, divine visitations, swift justice, and irreversible restoration over everything with your name on it. Heaven is watching. Obey the nudge. Be part of the divine delivery chain. Give now and unlock someone else's midnight miracle.